Hi guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be doing the first wash of the GTS. I'm going to take a slightly deeper clean approach to it on this wash. So this is going to be a long one, and in this kind of episode I'm going to be taking ownership of the vehicle itself. So door jambs, obviously, they may have not been cleaned in the past. There might be stuff living in there. I mean, who knows? So I'm just going to take you through the process that I would kind of do when you're taking over a car, especially a personal car as well. So we're going to do some bits slightly different. We're going to use a few slightly different products, and you're going to see some new stuff in development as well. But yeah, let's get cracking. So just to show you, as I said, it has not been cleaned. You can see a little bit of mold there as well. It's not probably mold, it's just general dirt, a little bit of polish residue up here, just there. So this is what I mean about taking ownership of the car, getting the carpets and stuff, obviously the kick panels here, which will kind of be sorted when we do the interior anyway, but just the general takeover of the vehicle. It has to be done properly, and obviously all under here there's going to be all sorts of dirt, but you can't see it though because of the lighting, but it's there. But especially in these areas here, I'm going to be using a new product. So again, you saw this on Instagram on the Porsche Taycan or the Taycan video. So with this, it's got multiple uses, so it's not a specific product that you use on one thing. So I'm going to be talking you through it as we're washing the car anyway, but that is literally, it's coming really soon. So with that new product, as I was talking about, I'm just, again, the pressure washer is off, but the water's on, so that just gives us a little bit of water just in case there's anything loose. So with this new product, again, here it is. You saw it on the Porsche Taycan video as the pre-wash element. So the guy hadn't, well, we cleaned the car. We had a bit of, in fact, no, it was the first time we cleaned the car in that video. So a week or two prior to that, he picked it up and he's been driving it. Obviously the car was unprotected. We could see that by the water behaviour on the panel. And during that time there was a heat wave. So as you can imagine, I think he drove to London, Essex, Colchester, all these type of areas. And he came to us, so we used this product as, again, the car wasn't pre-rinsed, it was nothing. So we applied this product to the car on Instagram, and people went absolutely crazy over it because the amount of dirt that it shifted, and the bugs especially, was unbelievable. So I'm just taking, obviously, the largest brush out the pack that we do, and I'm just agitating it. Just a little bit of scrubbing power just there. So again, it just shifted all the bugs on an unprotected paint, which is the most important thing, because if the car was protected, especially the front bumpers, it might have been a whole different story, because the pre-rinse would have knocked most of that out anyway. So with this product, it's got multiple uses. We use this on the engine bays, again the door shuts, as you can see here, as on the pre-wash stage as well. It could be used on the arches, tyres. I wouldn't recommend it on the tyres, especially if your tyres are dressed, only because it's not built for kind of, especially against silicone. It's not built for that purpose. But in this instance, we'll put it into a spray bottle, and we're going to be obviously degreasing and cleaning the arches. Now, what I've also done is it can be used through the snow foam cannon, which is the really awesome thing about this. So I'm calling it, in words, boost, just for now. It may even always be called boost actually, but it's the best kind of product name that I've come up with because of what it does. It boosts everything that you put it into contact with or in combination with. So in this case, when we're putting it on the snow foam cannon, it's actually boosting the snow foam. So the usual dilution of the Yum foam, 100 ml, all measured out again accurately. So you're going to see it on camera now. It's not like we're pouring it in and just guesstimating at this point. But 100 ml of foam, but we've also added in 100 ml of this new product Boost. And what's that going to do? It basically just giving the snow foam that extra bite. It's got certain properties which, again, I won't reveal just yet, but it's got great properties in terms of it removes salt, it removes soot. It's been obviously built in a special way where it tackles the worst kind of contamination that could potentially land on your paint. As you can see here with just the brush, it's high foaming. So again, on a normal kind of maintenance wash, imagine, I'll give you an example. You've been driving this car through winter, it's protected, it's at the top of its game with paint, you know, no swirls, no scratches now. Obviously the pre-wash stages are really, really important. So you would normally add 100 ml of Yum foam, the usual dilution. Now will start breaking down 98%, okay? Now, if you've been driving this for a couple of weeks and it's got sodium chloride, obviously salt, amongst other things that they put on the road, but especially in the UK, sodium chloride is a big thing. Now, during the development process, we were really conscious of this point because you want to make something that is, well, LSP safe, as they call it. So the last step, last stage product, whichever way you want to talk about it, but also remove the 2% that is potentially the worst 2% before you do the contact wash. So hence why the Boost. We're still testing it through the cannons. As I said, it can be put through the cannon. It's going to be very rare that you do it. I would recommend you just put it through the bottle like we're doing now. And that's just the best way to use this product because it's sprayable and you can kind of have a versatile approach, engine bays, all that sort of stuff. I mean, these door shuts are going to get power rinsed anyway during the next processes. So I'm just removing the loose suds and the entrapped kind of dirt that we've just pulled up. I always like to do this first for anything ultra dirty, just because obviously we're going to be rinsing it, foaming it multiple times. It's the best way. Now again, what an improvement. Now again, I'm going to take a wheel towel, just wipe down a little bit of overspray. You can see here. So now to the important stuff. These wheels, they look like they're gloss black. I don't really know at the minute, but yeah, they're really, really bad, especially the barrels. So I'll give you an example. So again, I've got a clean finger. Yeah, that is bad. So AMG brakes, as people know, aren't exactly the kindest in terms of brake dust, but we'll fix it. So we're gonna kind of flush the arches out, hit them with like a nice cleaner as well, especially these plastic. Yeah, these are plastic, so that's even better. Obviously hit the wheels and we'll see how they come up, but I think they're gloss black. Again, like I said, this is the first wash, so the more in-depth details will be coming. So I just want to kind of take ownership of the car, inspect the paint. So we're not going to do anything super crazy. So I'll definitely let the wheel cleaner sit for slightly longer. Again, make sure the barrels are just ready for a good treatment. So I'm guessing this is gonna really, I mean, it's black, you can't see it, but I can already see everything just running off. So we're gonna pre-treat the arches as well. Get that spray pattern beautiful. Just ready for a good scrubbing. Again, the best clean that we're gonna do is probably when the wheels are gonna be off the car. But this is just to rinse everything. So, AMG GTS, as you've seen by the takeover video, the Mustang is gone. So, it's a mixed reaction. The Mustang crowd are mixed reviews about this car, but who the hell cares? So the car's been with me now for a week, around a week. Actually hasn't been driven that much because it's we're being hit by a storm from America, I think, south coast, so it's decided to come over the ocean to us. So again, because I don't know how the car operates in terms of handling, I mean, it's got a lot more power than kind of usual, so I didn't want to drive it in the rain, if I'm totally honest with you. So it's kind of been underground for a bit, hiding. I've been driving it on dry, kind of on dry or slightly moist weather, so obviously hence why the car is also extra dirty as well. But just to try and get used to it, get used to the power again. I've never driven an AMG. I know that they can be quite leery, especially when you let them go properly. So this kind of, obviously, it's a nice day now for the next couple of days after this video. I know it's going to be bad weather again, but then it's nice on the weekend as well. So that just gives me the opportunity to kind of learn as much as I can about driving it in the dry before I can start properly daily driving this thing, which again is the intention for this car. But so obviously I'm gonna wash the paint, inspect it. That's the whole reason for this kind of mini wash. The paint correction side of it might have to wait a bit because we are like really busy. So I'm just gonna put some really quick protection on it just to make sure it doesn't get any worse. But I specifically asked again. I had the option of the local detail, well, not the local detailer, but the detailer at the place where I picked this up to kind of obviously polish it and take it over properly. So I opted out of that. I'd rather not, only because, you know, it will actually cause more bad than good. So plus you guys can see, again, I need to see what the paint's like in terms of hardness, but I can imagine it's very hard paint. But it'll give you guys a chance to kind of see how to correct hard paint. I suspect these tires may need to have more than one hit. Now, if you guys want to see what an embedded brake disc looks like, this is it. A lot of stuff's coming off. Definitely give these another go in just to make sure, but yeah, I mean, look, it's clean. Embedded contaminants, tar, all sorts will be on this. Sit a bit longer. So yeah, I mean, here's a good one for you guys. I've been thinking about this already. What's everybody's opinion on potentially refurbing the wheels, which obviously there's no need to refurb them in terms of there's no damage, but maybe thinking of going like a bronze gold, satin gold, gloss gold, keep within the company ethos, black and gold. Let me know your thoughts. Can you see the wheel cleaner this time? It's actually foaming up even more, so there was definitely something on the wheels. Maybe like a quick spray on, rinse off kind of application protection. And they're still bleeding heavily, especially in the barrels, hence why I could feel all the contaminants. I actually like the design of the wheels. I think it's slick, very nice. Hence why I'm talking about not changing them, but just recoloring them. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm gonna wait for a while anyway. As I said, we are busy and I just want to kind of live with the black. I mean, I love the black on black look. Gives us that kind of stealthy, murdered out appearance. So I might even keep these, but I mean, just as a thought process, it might look quite cool with like a satin bronze, satin gold. Who knows? Now these calipers are very big, so it's quite tight behind there, but still the small wheel woolly's reaching it. Just get the big wheel woolly in there, give it a good scrub. After you saw my last fiasco with the crap brush that I decided to buy, I'm always testing. But again, it just proves that there's nothing better than these wheel woolies. Nothing. See, as I said, it's still bleeding. A lot of people seem to neglect the barrels just in general because they don't have the proper kind of reach tools that can go into the barrels. I've noticed that quite a lot actually. People usually use the cheap brushes or they use the kind of wash mitt, microfiber towel method. Again, you're always going to catch your knuckles, which means it's going to hurt, and after the first few times you're just going to say I've had enough and not clean the barrels as well. The problem is that's where most of the brake dust gets kind of attached to. Now let's see, will the big wheel woolly reach? That'll be interesting. Yes. My all-time favourite size, this wheel woolly. If all cars just could have brake calipers at the front where it could reach, it would be everybody's dream. It's just got a bigger head, and it just moves the wheel cleaner around just the right amount as well. I mean, behind that brake caliper, it's a bit tight, but I can reach behind it. While I've still got the wheel cleaner on. Usually with carpeted arches, the trick to it is a good pre-rinse with water, a long pre-rinse. Will actually do the same as the chemicals will, because obviously carpet holds onto more stuff. Now I'm only doing this as a first time. Every time it's just a nice thorough rinse with the water, will knock everything out. There's something oddly satisfying about cleaning the dirtiest of wheels, especially for the first time if it's your new car. Yeah, these are heavily contaminated. That's what I mean, this is the perfect way to clean wheels. This is exactly why I developed the YumWheels, because mean, yeah, you can talk about carbon ceramics. I mean, even though it's still safe on carbon ceramics, but half the formula dies because there's no brake dust. Well, not dies, but it becomes kind of useless. But in terms of these brakes, 97, probably even more percent of people have, or 99.9% of people have normal steel brakes that kick off a lot of brake dust. So you're kind of getting a 2-in-1 here. Yeah, I think maybe a wheel colour I'm not sure yet still. I'm using a bit more wheel cleaner than I usually would, only because I just want to make sure there's plenty of dwell time on these wheels. But yeah, they're really heavily contaminated with the brake dust. Now, hence why I'm cleaning them twice. But I'll see once it's inside. Obviously, I'm going to assess the wheels once they're also dry, just to see if there's any damage on them, which is also fine if there is, because obviously it's been used. But I've got this idea in my head. Ever since I thought of it, I told Kelly about this whole, bronze colour, gold, whatever, but maybe you guys can help me out. Yeah, the wheels are almost clean now. We're going to go into the deep decon of the paint. Maybe foam it multiple times, just to make sure we flush all the arches and the gaps that we can't reach with a good dose of obviously foam and stuff. But if I am going to mod the car, I may have to do it before we do the paint correction, because as you all know, if anybody knows the whole caddy story which we had it all paint corrected, and then we decided to do a few little mods, and we got back the van, and the van was in need of another paint correction, so we had to strip the coatings because people had sheets on it, so obviously they dragged all the sheets, and yeah, those sheets probably haven't been washed in years, and it just really messed the paintwork up. Hence why I'm a bit dubious doing any sort of paint correction on the car. I mean, obviously, as I said, the car needs a bit of work, a bit of TLC, but that's just obviously because previous owners maybe haven't had the correct education in paint care, but that's okay. But again, that's what we're here for, educating people on how it's done right. First of all, I just want to clean it up. As soon as the nice weather hits back again, drive it, get it dirty, clean it again, because that's the whole point, isn't it, of car ownership, any car ownership, is drive them, clean them. That's the part I love most, driving and cleaning these cars, especially when they're protected, not like this. But so far I love the car, absolutely love it. I'm going to introduce the car properly in another video, in terms of I'm going to talk about its specs, obviously a bit of the history of the car, as much of what I know about the car, introduce it right, talk about some figures, and just obviously so you guys know what I know. I'm going to be trying to be as transparent as I can. Obviously, but stay tuned for as much modifications as possible on this. Now, I've had a really cool idea now. Obviously, we've had a lot of people message us over time talking about what cannons do you recommend, obviously what pressure washers do you recommend. So obviously there's only a few answers which we give, and obviously I'm not going to talk about the whole snow foam cannon thing, because you all know what's happening there. But in terms of pressure washers, now it'd be very interesting. I want to approach Kranzel and a few other companies, so obviously with the guns and stuff, and I want to try and provide the best solution possible. I'm going to warn now, it's not going to be cheap, but it's going to be the best. It's going to be the best pressure washer solution you'll ever see in your life. Now, again, this might take me a while because I've heard the Germans, and obviously Kranzel especially, because they've got such a high rep. Because if you do it right, you've got to be protective. There's too many clowns knocking about. But obviously, we want to know who we are and the kind of the advantages that we can kind of bring to the table. I'm going to see if we can obviously stock and sell our favorite Kranzel and accessories that come with it. I'm going to do a video on my Kranzel, what mods I have done on it, but also there's a few bits I want to kind of change out, obviously a few improved things. So in terms of the connection here, they've actually have been improved over the years. So now it's stainless T304, is it? So probably one of the best compounds you can get in the steel market. But again, I'm going to modify mine slightly more, but then offer the more modified solution. As I was saying, offer a more modified solution because, again, I'm buying thousands and thousands upon test items because we're always testing products, like I said. And obviously, it's not your job to do the I mean, if you want to do the research, fine, that's great, but I like doing the research and I like buying and testing things. Now, I think that might be a viable option. It's not going to be a Karcher price or Nilfisk or whichever ones you use, you know, I mean, that's the two main ones in the UK. Obviously, there's even cheaper alternatives than that, but it's not going to be nowhere near that price point. However, same like we did with the brand, we never built a product, let's say this product, we've never built it for price, ever, or to a certain price point. We built it to a spec, the best spec that is possibly available as of the current technological advances. So it'll be the same thing with hopefully the Kranzels. We're going to offer the best money can buy, and that's it. And you guys just go and enjoy it like we're enjoying ours. I mean, this is now 1.5 years old, ours. If anybody knows me really well, as it stands, I'm not the best kind of person with a tool, like a spanner or something. Nowhere near the best, but you know, I try and I want to learn more. But I changed the oil on the Kranzel myself. Took me about 5 minutes, probably 10, but that's only because I was trying to kind of read the instructions at the same time. Watch a couple of videos on YouTube, it's how to do it. But now that I know how to do it, it'll probably take me 90 seconds. And I think the longest part of the oil change on this pressure washer is letting the oil drain out. Apart from that, you put it in, seal the plug back up, and you're back in business. So I'm going to approach Kranzel, whether we do a drop shipping solution first. I mean, probably that might not be the best because, again, I'm going to be offering modified parts on it, which are just slightly better than Kranzel's. So all the quick disconnect kits and all that sort of stuff. But we'll see what they say. We'll see. Time to really expand. I mean, hopefully we've got some big news as well coming from, you know, the reseller point of view. We've got some big people lined up. Again, because they're so big, it takes time. If anybody has done any big deals will realize this. It takes time, but it's super, super exciting. We're really, really picky with who we kind of take on. We do get approached quite a lot which is also really humbling. It's nice, but again, some people just aren't right. And we try and find mini me's and me. Nice Aston V8. Just to try and find kind of like mini me's and mini Kellys, as I was saying. It's windy today. So it takes time, but eventually we'll hopefully be in every country in the world, or be in less countries in the world, but have huge hubs which supply other countries around it, which might be actually another solution. Who knows? Now again, look, I've hit the arch twice, I've hit the wheel twice. I normally don't do this. I just, when it's your first kind of wash, it's kind of my ritual. I do everything twice, just to make sure, because at the end of the day, we're all human. You may miss a bit. If you hit it twice, more than likely you've hit everything. Now, if you look after your tools, like I keep saying, so important. They'll last you a lifetime, especially with all the YumCars, Wheel Woolly brands, the best. So it just takes you a few seconds, give them a rinse out, make sure there's no excess product. And that way they won't smell of wheel cleaner either. Time to rinse now. So as I said, we've got 100 mil of Yum foam, and we've got 100 mil of the boost. So I'm going to let that do its work when it's on the car. I'm going to agitate obviously all the cracks, the crevices, because I know there was a bit of a kind of like polished residue in there as well. I noticed there was a bit on the kind of like the door rubbers and stuff, so we're going to agitate that with like a nice brush, a bit more boost in a bottle, which is how it's meant to be really used. But as you can see, there's something definitely on the paint, but this should knock it down. Now the reason why I didn't use the strip wash was because I'm testing how the two of these chemicals work together. But I may follow this up with another foam instead of using the Yum wash for the lubrication. I'm going to be using potentially the strip wash to kind of obviously give it that more bite as well during the wash, and that will act as lubrication as well. So we've got a bit of our new boost, again an exterior 18-inch YumCars detailing brush as well, so it's extra soft. So we're going to follow up, even though it's already on the paint, it's already soaking. So what we're going to do is we're going to preload the brush like this. So again, you're going to take the brush, you're going to preload it, preload the jams, the cracks, and just agitate as much as you can. This will obviously help, first of all, double up on the strength of the cleaning solution, but also it will access areas where the wash pad or mitt will never access. And because the way the bristles kind of move and splay away from each other, this is the perfect kind of way to make sure that you're getting into all the areas. Now this is very, very rarely I do this, and obviously on all our details we have to, because again, we don't know how the car's been cared for. But on our cars, when they get washed twice, 3 times a week, there's literally no need to do this unless you've been driving for many, many miles without washing the car. But on my personal cars, I do this. maybe once every 6 months, just to keep on top of it. I kind of took note of where the polish residue was. So obviously this car has been hand polished, machine polished, who knows. The paint's not in the best state, it's definitely been wiped. But it's all good. It just gives us an opportunity to really hone the car in. As I was saying before the phone rang, we've got the water deionized through the deionizer, and we've also got a pH neutral solution, which is really important. But again, the sun's gone back in anyway, but even if it does dry, you shouldn't worry, because it'll rinse clean anyway without leaving any marks. Again, usually it's very rare we do this, especially on the front. I mean, these front, I've worked on AMGs before, so these front grills are quite tricky, but once we protect them, when we go through the normal washing procedure, most of the steps may be unnecessary sometimes, because again, you let the product work for you, and especially when all the plastics are protected, the foam will just knock them out so quickly. Here comes the rain again. Now I'm already thinking about this. Do I coat this, or do I use my usual procedure I did on the Mustang? Now, on Mustang, for the people who've seen it, especially in real life, can attest because it was a flat paint, so there was no metallics or anything like that in, but the paint looked thick. It's a very strange illusion, but it looked very, very, very thick. Hence why so many broody people wanted to touch the car. Oh yeah, I'm pulling some stuff here. Black, a good sign. You pull in stuff, which is exactly why this step's very important when you're taking on a new car, because there may be old dressings, horrible cheap dressings that you're not aware of. Now, it may impede kind of your wiping process, your polishing process, because the microfiber towel will pick it up as well. Whereas now we're just going to rinse this away. I'm going to show you this. We're pulling all this black foam here, and every time you do this, just look at the consistency of the foam. It's very dirty, and again, you've got stuff like the petrol cap, which needs some serious attention. So yes, do I coat this? Like always, we've got access to the best, longest lasting, glossiest coatings, but there's just something about a wax, the way the wax looks, that I don't know, I don't think it'll be ever beaten. Obviously, if you're talking about real Canuba, it's natural, so you get that warm glow from a natural product, whereas obviously a ceramic's fully synthetic, fully man-made, for people who don't know what that means. So it gives it that. Again, don't get me wrong, amazing reflections, amazing gloss, but there's just it's different. A different type of gloss, which again is amazing as well, and it's fine, but because we've got the luxury of keeping the car well maintained, that's always a swinging point for me, is the fact that if the wax needs a top up, it can get topped up within a couple of minutes. So under normal circumstances, we would now reform the car with a Yum wash, but because this is more of a prep wash, or an inspection wash in this case, we're going to be doing a strip soap solution. So again, 100 ml, 900 ml of water. Water's pooling very slowly. On that wing, there's definitely something else, because it's still really hydrophobic, but it's only the wing, which is strange. But yeah, we're going to foam this, go straight into the contact wash, and then the usual just rinse dry, and then we'll inspect the paint. But this will definitely now knock out all the rest, or if any protection left on the car. This is definitely the thicker foam. You can see the consistency change immediately. This is an alkaline solution. I'm going to treat the arches one more time. Beautiful. I'm going to dump the rest of the strip wash solution in there. So while the strip wash is on the car and in the bucket, it's constantly eating away at all the remaining contamination, the dirt, and obviously the best way to activate the cleaner is through agitation. It's all well having a snow foam on the car to rinse the first stage off, but then if you have another cleaner on the car, it actually supercharges the clean. Hence why if you look at all the reviewers who do it right and they do a torture test, they always hit the panel with a certain chemical and then agitate it with a towel, because that's how a cleaner then works into it. It's a very strange experience washing this for the first time. It's nice to be in the Mercedes club now. Let's see where life takes us. The good thing I love about the strip wash is it's so slick. Obviously that's the alkalinity that's providing that extra lubrication. Even though the Yum wash is very, very slick, if you start dropping alkaline solutions in, it just boosts it that bit more. So yeah, it's always a safe wash with this. It's still in testing. We're just seeing now, really, it's the point in the test where you're testing obviously the aggressiveness of it, but also how it is on, say, people's hands, etc. Because yes, you can make a strip soap that strips metal, but is it good? No. So we're just in kind of the stability stages now. The volatility stages, obviously I'm using it, which is fine. God, this is a big bonnet. Thank God I'm 6'6". But hopefully that'll make an appearance soon. Whoops. Wash mid's gone. Gee, that's a big hole. That's probably another intake to suck in that air that you need for the huge engine. Yeah, there's a lot of dirt here dripping off, probably from the arches now that it's lingering there. So, product one's coming imminently. Product two is where we are. Product two. So we've had to put it back on stability because I decided to change it at the last moment. So I had it on stability about 2 weeks ago now. So again, we had to update that. Everything's looking good so far, but still we need a bit more time with it just to make sure. So yeah, flip the pad. So that's that for the first two products. In terms of the others, obviously with what you saw with the Boost, that's probably looking at the Christmas time release, and alongside with another product. But again, we are with the other products that I'm talking about, we're looking at the packaging. We're going to make that one super special. Again, it's been in development for that long. What's a few more, well, months at this stage. Ford Fiesta. God, I'm sure those cars get louder and louder by the day. Jesus. So yeah, so you were looking at potentially 4 products. Obviously the buckets, they are actually already in the country. They're currently in storage until we move into our other unit. Because like I said, it's 15 pallets, it's a big number. So we're just waiting to secure our other unit. Like obviously, again, it's been on Instagram stories. It's currently in the rebuild phase anyway, but we're getting pallet racking, lights, etc., having everything painted. Again, nobody will probably ever see that unit, but it's how we work, you know, everything has to be super nice. It's just more comfortable to work in a nicer unit. But yeah, the bucket's definitely going to be here before Christmas. Maybe a couple of, 6 weeks, as soon as we have the space. Again, released, we're going to get obviously Andre, our photographer. Let's Go Photography, if anyone's wondering. He's hot, he is, on his photos. He used to work for Selfridges, that's the one. So you can imagine just the type of photos he takes. So as soon as he's available for us, the buckets will be live. Obviously with the grid guards, etc. Obviously we're going to do a deionized rinse because the sun keeps peaking. Obviously at this stage we can let the car drive normally, but obviously we'll still dry it, but it just gives us more time. So I've got the deionized water on, give it the final rinse. This time we're going to really flush the arches, all the gaps, make sure there's nothing left. Obviously the worst place, because this is going straight in the washing machine. So good. It's just starting to drizzle again, so we've got the deionizer on. Give this a rinse and we'll whip it inside. Get that pressure built up. Come on. So obviously with the deionizing kit that we have, what you get out of the tap now is 0 parts per million water, which technically means you could rinse this car, and even in the highest heat, so imagine 35-degree heat outside now, direct sunlight, it will dry naturally with no water spots. So, and the beauty of this, again, is it can be used through a normal garden hose or a pressure washer. Now, a lot of them, I think there's only a couple of systems that I'm aware of that you can use them through a pressure washer, but then again, they're really, really expensive as well. And a lot of the mainstream ones that you find can only be used through a garden hose because it can't take the pressure of obviously the pressure washer. So this, in terms of bang for your buck, is amazing, and I've tested this on my personal cars as in the heat, and no water spotting. The refills are fairly cheap as well, so you can't really complain. Yeah, the car's totally flat now. Is a good sign. So the beauty of having a deionized car or using deionized water is you can leave it for as long as you want and it's safe. Now I'm just putting a bit of detail spray on just to dry the car, add some gloss. Yeah, the paint's jacked. I already knew this anyway. I mean, we'll probably be looking at a full correction on this, but when I first viewed the car, in my typical Nick fashion, I took down my paint measuring kits and everything, so I knew what the paint was like, but then I also knew it could be corrected because it's quite thick. So that's fine, that's okay with me. Some cars need work. But it's black, so when we get it right and really hone it in, it's going to look absolutely stunning. Now after this, I'm just going to walk you around real quick and just show you what I'm seeing. Give us a bit of a challenge. So I'm going to probably have to live with this like it is for maybe a month or two. Maybe over the colder months we can really hone it in. I mean, as I'm shooting this video, we're fully booked up until October. So obviously this is mid-August now. So almost 2 months ahead booked, which is always fantastic in terms of the service side, which means this car can't be in here for longer than a few days here and there. But as I said, you know, when they all go away for Christmas and, you know, want to spend time with their families, potentially, you know, obviously I don't want to say anything because I said this last Christmas and we were booked up until the last week before we closed. So, yeah, as soon as we have an opportunity, it's going to be in here. But the good thing is, as I said, there was something definitely on the car, 100%. But again, he's also a customer of ours, so maybe he's used one of our products on it. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to ask him. But the strip wash combined with the Yum foam treatment and the boost, it's weird calling it that. I don't know if maybe if I call it enough times, maybe that'll be the real name for it. But that's really took off all the protection, which is what you want. Clean slate. I didn't clear the car because I'm going to probably clear it out another time. This is more of an inspection thing now, so the car is clean. I can see the swirls already, the scratches, but the main thing, it's clean. Yeah. You can hear it. So we can have a look. I'm going to measure all the panels properly, inch by inch, just to make sure everything's still cracking. And then obviously in the future I'm going to book this car into here. Allot some time to it. It just has to be done. In fact, while I was washing the car, Kelly kindly switched the plates over, so we were still waiting on the documentation, so the V5 documents to arrive. They arrived, so obviously as I was filming this, Kelly has, with the DVLA, she switched over everything, so the last ownership, or taking over ownership of this car, is going to be installing the new plates off the Mustang. The 3D carbon gel, quite minimalistic. I didn't want to do 4D, might have been a bit too in your face. So after I walk you around the car, we'll install the plates and we'll be done. And dry the wheels off, put a bit of dressing on, feed all the rubbers. So I'll just keep looking, obviously, after the car up until we can kind of correct the paint. So I'm just going to keep adding a little bit of protection here and there, just to keep it obviously keeping all the UV stuff out the way. You don't want to make the car worse. As I said, keep feeding all the rubbers. But then when we do the detail, we'll probably restart the whole strip wash procedure. I won't put anything too stout on the paint, so it'll be easy to come off. Yeah, definitely want to add some nice dressing to the tires. Keep them boys fed. So the last and final step, take off this horrific plate holder. My washing machine still sings to me. I mean, I could attach the number plate on this, but I like a clean finish. So we're going to take this off. Hopefully there's nothing on underneath. See, it's a shame to put holes in the bumpers. Please have nothing on there. Boom. Oh yeah. Clean. So we're just going to IPA this. So our old waffle weaves have been demoted to door jamb duties. But you know what? They're actually really good at what they do. Again, it's still a drying towel. So you just pulled off all that stuff. But for now, all I'm after is this. Boom. Bossium. So the number plate's all legal. Haven't done this in a while now, so I might be a little bit slow with this. There we go. Right. So I'm going to leave. See, the old stickies are still sticky, so I may just leave them on as well. Extra protection. Watch me fumble through this. So this is the final part. The car's ours. Officially on YouTube. Just a final touch. Bossium's on. It's a cracking number plate she found me. I don't know where she was looking, but it's an awesome plate. I think that's straight. Ish. I'm not sure. Do I put it lower or do I put it higher? All the way up. Let's see how does that look. Is that straight? Looks straight. Again, so it's dry behind there, it's IPA, so we know there's nothing kind of going to adhere or have any adherence issues. Obviously, there's a bit of glue residue here, but I'll tidy that up. But it's official, Bossium's on the number plate finally, and so I'm going to just tidy up the door jambs, dress the tires, obviously dry the wheels and stuff. The next video you might see with the car actually is an interior detail. Again, because it's, as I said, I've been meaning to do a how-to on interiors, or how I do it anyway. And this car's just the perfect test pilot. It hasn't been hoovered by, you'll see there. It's just as it was. So there's obviously the foot marks, scuffs on the plastics. But Bossium's on finally. Guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. It's been a long one. I just try to be a bit more kind of raw with this. The videos are getting longer and longer, but hopefully you've picked something off this video. I can't drop you 8 years of information in one video. It would be nice, but it's just impossible. So every time we do videos, I try and kind of impart a little bit more knowledge onto you, and hopefully it helps. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one for some crazy content. Just so you guys can see the level look. So all of this hazing in and around the light. This is all over the car. Now, I'm gonna try and find you a good piece there, look. So if you look into the lights, all of this. See, this is the thing with side shots. That looks good. You then immediately flip it over and you see this. Oh, that's a big mark there. But that's the whole car, like this. I mean, you can even see it on video. Like, you probably won't be able to hide it. Yes, it looks shiny because we just put detail spray on and we've knocked off a lot of the crap off the paint. But as soon as you start zooming in, it's not the best. But again, this is going to be absolutely amazing once we're finished with it.